Hi there, Elevated Planet community. This is John Drew and Jole Gabrielle here with you once more. I've been talking to Jole about this now for the last week or so, and I felt it was a good idea for us to go through various things that many of us in the mainstream are less aware of in terms of the terminology that will be used by the likes of Jole, because this has been your world, Jole, for many, many decades. So, right. So, Jole, can we just dive straight on in? The first thing I want to ask you about is the grounding cord. This is something that I know that we do this when we're doing meditations, but again, grounding cords to me meant not an awful lot. If I wind the clock back not so long ago, I would be fascinated to get your insight on grounding cords, the whys, the hows, and all that kind of thing.
Okay, I think the best thing to do is always to keep it simple. The point of power is always going to be in the present moment. And a grounding cord is here, a part of our energetic makeup, to keep us in reality, to keep us pragmatic, to keep us grounded and on our feet, so to speak, so that we can survive and hopefully at some point thrive. So when doing the meditation, we have a grounding cord, which we want to create. I always say generate, imagine, or visualize of a natural earth element, because it is a grounding cord, which is connected to Mother Earth. So that energy is familiar. So we want to use something like a tree trunk, a rope, an anchor, a tunnel of water, a beam of light. And once we create this grounding cord, we begin to use the power of our minds to move through Mother Earth. And this grounding cord, since it's permeable, we're able to let go of some things and we're able to bring in some things. Of course, they're intangible. So it's good to go in knowing that this is about me feeling safe, me receiving messages from Mother Earth as to how to proceed, and me also being grateful and humble to this amazing process that I'm having, and as well as being present and aware. So you want to always make sure you clean it off. What does cleaning it off do? Cleaning it off means that we are getting rid of, like I said before, other people's energy, things we are ready to let go of and release, bad attitude, past behaviors, feelings of unsafety, fear. And the grounding cord also, serves as a portal to be able to process energy, transmute energy in the body. Oftentimes we're holding energy in our bodies, pictures. The grounding cord is a great way to release and let go of some of that energy, giving it to Mother Earth so that she can process it into positive, creative life force energy. Because other humans and animals or whatever really can't handle a lot of the traumas that we've experienced. And we have a tendency to take it out on others or ourselves. So if we learn a way to let it go, the grounding cord is one of the ways in which we can really heal ourselves.
Yeah, it's interesting because I know one of the things I always I'm willing to always admit is that I come from a left brain version of reality not so long ago. And when we do the meditation and we talk about grounding cords and we talk about all these other elements of this requires imagination, right? You are using your imagination to create something. Now, for us left brainers, that is your first challenge right there. Because you think, well, that's not real. I can't touch it. I can't hold it. I can't see it. How can it truly exist? And I suppose this is one of the things that the practice of meditation helps you with over time. Because at the start, it's not easy because you're bridging this gap from, you got to be able to touch it, see it, feel it, reality, to belief and faith in what is happening and how you can create things. And I do remember, one of the very first times I meditated, and it was a guided meditation, and it was an amazing experience because I didn't really expect an awful lot to happen. And I was just like laying there on the bed and I was just listening to this guided meditation. But all of a sudden, I just got this overall tingling energy that was just coursing through me. I just thought, wow, it felt fantastic, but it was so weird. I'd never experienced anything like it. So it kind of told me, yeah, there is something to this. This is not just like, woo-woo nonsense. There's something physically happening here. And then that encouraged me to keep going and to kind of research it and to practice it. And I do think it takes practice, particularly for us left brainers. I think
Absolutely.
the right, and I think this is like, if you think about more of the feminine energy, which has that creativity and that ability to kind of handle this idea so much easier. I think the masculine energy, it takes a bigger leap of faith. And I think that there is an imbalance between the feminine energy that really buys into this and the left brain masculine energy, which tends to be more resistant, needs a little bit more to make it work and make it work harder. But for my part, I can say it's very worthwhile, because once you kind of get over the fact that, we don't have to touch, feel, see it, well, you feel it, but you don't have to, you can't actually visibly see it. But there's plenty of things that we know exist that we can't see. So that's it shouldn't be too big a leap of faith.
And for the left brain people, I know that they know very well what stress feels like, what worry feels like, what guilt, shame feels like. Can you touch that? Can you feel that? Right. Absolutely not. So what's on the other side of that? So that's where we come in, right? Because if you're going to tell me I can't believe in this, but you worry and you fear and you have stress, you feel that. They say that the most dangerous time or highest rate of heart attack is at 9 o'clock on Monday morning. Why is that?
Yeah.
So if you feel that level of stress going into your corporate job, don't you believe that there's something on the other side of that? All you need is just a grain of, like they say, a mustard seed of just thinking, like, if I can worry and my mind is so powerful that now I have diabetes or that I have, vitiligo or whatever, would it be possible maybe for me to do something on the other side of that?
Yeah, it's a very, very valid point. And it does make you think about things in a different way. And I think that's part of the programming we have. It's quite distorted. It kind of suggests that science and religion have the answers to everything. And science is often reluctant to cross the bridge into the metaphysical, albeit in more recent times, the bridges are being built and it has opened up a lot more than in the past. But nevertheless, I think that's the programming. It's like, science and religion answers everything in the world. Everything has to be logical, provable.
Yeah, that really brings us into quantum mechanics, right? Or quantum, I don't want to say physics because I don't really know, but
right.
All of these great, I think Max Planck was his name. He was one of the first people to study the effects of light on when it's observed, right? And he noticed that it changes. And then it just kind of, that point of view began to take off. And we have Joe Dispenza, we have people like Bruce Lipton, that when you begin to sort of put your mind to co-creation or visualizing, things start to kind of change. They can kind of shift once you shift your perspective.
Yes.
I mean, it's everywhere. Every single self-help book, somewhere within it, it asks you to change your attitude and change your perspective. That's like the first thing it asks you to do. Like, get rid of your trauma and change the way you're looking at life.
Yeah. And I think it's a great point to bring up, because these are people who are effectively like research scientists proving what would seem fantastical to us as being actual part of a provable reality. And like some of the weirdest things, like the consciousness of water. You don't think of water as having consciousness, but they've proved through these experiments, scientifically proven, that water itself has consciousness. Everything has consciousness. And you start to draw these parallels and think, wow, that's why this is such an amazing world, because actually everything around us is, in a manner of speaking, alive. And we just think of ourselves as being the superior beings. Then there's animals, and then there's plants, and there's there's the planet that we live on. Everything has consciousness, and it's just mind blowing. But these people do bring, particularly for those, the analytical people amongst our community, of which I know there are a lot, and left brainers, such as myself. You need an element of proof. I mean, okay, sometimes you can get it just by practicing it yourself and feeling it and realizing it. But often when you go to these books and you can kind of look at it, and you can listen to the lectures, you can listen to the TED Talks, you can listen to all this scientific evidence that this is real. And it opens up your life away from, as you were saying, the stress, the fear. You can escape it. It's very, very achievable.